morning, everyone. It's a little dark, but I think it's the best way to see the screen. I'm going to go over the do now and then also the quiz from yesterday. Excuse me, last week. So can you see this? Okay. So for the do now, integers 4 minus 3 is 1, 4 plus negative 3. This is the same, this is also 1. Now when we're multiplying fractions, we just go straight across. The numerators are just going to multiply each other, and same with the denominators. So it's going to be negative 1 over 8, negative 1/8. Now dividing fractions, we take the second fraction and we flip it. So it's going to be negative 1/4 times 1 times 1/2. And that's going to be the same thing, negative 1 over 8. Now I purposely did this here. Dividing by 2 over 1, or dividing by 2 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/2. This is especially important for problem 6 here. A lot of you said that this was the incorrect part because they didn't divide by 2, but this is essentially also dividing by 2. I'll get to that in a second. Solving for x, we add 2 to both sides. What I do to one side, I want to do to the other. 3x is now equal to 21. Do the inverse operation. This is multiplication here, so we're going to divide both by 3. These cancel. X is equal to 7. This is just identification right here. It is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pentagonal. And I notice that there aren't rectangles in between the two bases. Here is the base of it though. So it's going to be a pyramid. They all meet at one vertex, which is also this one called the apex. So it's a pentagonal pyramid. Okay. Next, now solving for the volume of this figure. Volume is equal to base times height. I'm going to draw a triangle around this because what's important is that the base of this triangular prism, though, is a triangle. It's this right here. So what I'll do now is volume is going to be equal to base times height divided by 2, and then times the height of the prism. The height of the prism is the distance in between the two bases. So here's one base, here's the other, so this is going to be the height of the prism. So this turns into, the base of this is 12, the height of the base is 11, and then we're going to divide by 2, and the height of the prism is 13. So this right here is the area of the triangle, or the area of the big B, the area of the base. Then we're multiplied by the height of the prism. So we have, I'm going to go up here, 12 times 11 is going to be 132 divided by 2, then times 13. Volume is equal to 66 times 13. Volume is equal to 858 centimeters cubed. I just did this multiplication right here. Okay, so 858 centimeters cubed. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over the quiz answers here. Calculate the total surface area of this square pyramid. Well, if I draw what it looks like, the net here looks something like this. We've got 4 triangles, lateral triangles, and then the square base. And the square base I know is going to be 14 by 14 because one length is 14, so this and this is 14, and this is 14, and also this length right here is 14. So this is going to be 14 squared. So this is going to be the area of the square base. Organize this. And then let's also calculate the area of the 4 triangles, 4 lateral triangles. Okay, so 14 times 14, it's going to be 196. So the area of this square right here is 196. I'll write that in here. Now once I figure out the area of one triangle, I just need to multiply it by 4, because how many are there? There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 triangles. So this triangle, if we fold it down, it's going to be this one here. The base is 14, and the height of the triangle is 24. So what I'll do in formula for a triangle is base times height divided by 2. This turns into, so the base is 14, The height is 24, and I'm just going to divide it by 2. So we have, this turns into 336 divided by 2. So that's going to be 112. Now I'm going to multiply 112 times 4. Why? Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal triangles. That gives me 448 centimeters squared. So this is the area of all 4 lateral triangles, and this one right here is the area of the square base. So then I just need to add 448 plus 196 . I must have done something wrong. Let's see, what did I do wrong? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I did this wrong here. 336 divided by 2 is not 112. 336 divided by 2 is going to be, sorry, my mistake, 168. So then 168 times 4, okay, 672. 168 times 4 is 672. Now I add 196 to 672, and that's going to be 868. So it's going to be C. Find the lateral surface area of the triangular pyramid below. All triangular faces are equilateral. What does this mean? Equal. And lateral, that just means side here. It just means side. So all of these have equal sides, which means all of these triangles are the exact same area. Now, but I want lateral surface area. Lateral surface area means without, this means without bases. So all these triangles are the same area. So I just need to figure out this, the area of this one triangle, and then multiply it by 1, 2, and 3. So base times height divided by 2. The base is 29, the height is 12, and I'll divide that by 2. 29 times 12 is 348. Divided by 2 is going to be 174. But this here is the area of one triangle. So it's not going to be this one. A lot of you put this. We need to multiply it by 3 because there's 1, 2, 3 lateral triangles. Lateral means without the bases, and this one right here is the base. So 174 times 3 is going to be 522. The answer is C. Okay. Company sells fruit juice in boxes shaped like rectangular prisms that are 2.5 inches long, 1.1 inches wide, and 4 inches high. What is the volume in cubic inches of 1 cubic box? Well, to figure out the area, the volume of this shape, we just need to multiply 2.5 times 1.1, and this will give me the base. So volume is equal to big base times height, the area of the base. So we're going to solve for this and then multiply by how tall it is. And if you're having trouble with this multiplication, just treat it as 25 times 11, and then move the decimal place 1, 2 space over, because there's 1, 2 decimal places. Oops, can't quite see it. Move it over 2 spaces because it's going to be 2 decimal places. So you get 275 and you move it over, it becomes this. So it's going to be 2.75 for the area of the base. And now just multiply that by 4, the height, which will give you 11. Okay, the dimensions of a solid block of cheese in the shape of a triangular prism are shown below. Which is the best estimate? So let's round this one, instead of 9.9 to 10, this one to 5, and this one to 7 here. So volume is equal to base times height. I am going to put a triangle around it, and I actually should have put a rectangle around this one. Can you see that? We'll put a triangle around it to know, so I know that it's going to be base times height divided by 2 for the area of the base. Now the base is 5, of the triangular prism. The height of it here is going to be 7 divided by 2. Then I'm going to multiply it by 10, the height of the prism, the distance in between two bases. So this is going to be 35 divided by 2 times 10, that's going to be the volume. 35 divided by 2 is 17.5, and times 10, volume is equal to 17.5 times 10 is 175. So the answer is A. Okay. Next, Adam built a toy box in the shape of a rectangular prism. The toy box is 2 feet wide, and the volume is 12 cubic feet. What is its length? Well, I know the volume is equal to base times height. I'm going to draw a rectangle around it because the base is going to be rectangular. And now I'm just going to substitute what I know. So the volume is 12. So 12 is equal to base. And I also know the height, which is 2. Now for the rectangular base, it's going to be length times width. I don't know what this length is, but I do know the width. So it's going to be 12 is equal to length times 2 times 2. Yeah, okay. So now I just need to solve for this length. So 2 times 2 is 4. So I have length times 4 should give me 12. And so what value here will make this equation true? So the answer is, well, I can just divide by 4. I'm just solving for L, because this really is 12 is equal to 4x, divide both by 4. X is equal to, or the L, is equal to 3 feet. This is my answer. Therefore, none of the choices are going to work. Now, for this one here, a lot of people got this wrong. That's okay, because they saw this and they didn't see any divide by 2. But this is the same thing as dividing by 2. The key here is I'm going to do it next to it. Volume is equal to base times height. I'm going to put a triangle around the big B. The volume is going to be equal to base times height divided by 2, and then times the height of the prism. So it should be this. Volume is equal to 8, which is the base of the base, the length of the base, times 10. Oh, this is the height right here. Times 10 divided by 2, and then times 20. So what they did is they misinterpreted which height is which. Now, if this is the same thing, though, as this, volume is equal to 1/2 times 8 times 10, and then times 20. These are the same thing here. So it wasn't this 1/2. It was the height of the prism. This h right here represents the height of the prism, the distance between two bases. Okay, so now if I were to write a justification for what Dre did incorrect, Dre's error was that he confused the height of the base, which was 10 centimeters, with the height of the prism, which was 20 centimeters. Although Dre got the correct answer, he did not distinguish between the two heights, period. The height of the base represents the height of the triangle, triangle, and the height of the prism represents the distance between the two triangular bases. For full credit, Dre should have set up the problem as follows. Is equal to, I'm just copying my work from up here. Volume is equal to base times height. Volume is equal to 1/2 times 8 times 10 times 20. All right, everyone. Thank you very much.